Hello everyone. This week on Science, we're going to be working with 3 ingredients: eggs, water, and vinegar. And you're going to need a lot of patience. This is going to take minimum 2 days, maximum 5 days. There's going to be a couple different experiments that you can choose. Thinking about vinegar, we worked with vinegar last week with our volcanoes, and we know that vinegar, just plain regular white vinegar, is an acid, and you know what acids do? They eat away at things, right? So here's an experiment. The first one we do is we take a regular raw egg and we put it in a container filled with vinegar, and then you cover it for 48 hours. And I even labeled it here. I have 48 hours later. I'll know when to open it up. So this has been sitting here for about 48 hours. And I'm going to take a slotted spoon and very carefully lift this out. And you can see all this brown stuff here, that was the shell. We have brown eggs. You might have different colored eggs. But I also want you to take a look at something else. Look at the difference in size of these eggs here. This is the raw egg, and this is the egg that has been sitting in vinegar for a while. What happened was that the water in the vinegar went through the skin, and you can feel this. It's a very thin little skin, or we call it a membrane, and the water that was in the vinegar went through the membrane. And if you can think of that surface tension and that experiment with the paper toweling and how the water was soaking up the paper toweling, that's similar to what was going on here. The water actually goes through the membrane and it fills in the gaps inside the egg where there isn't as much water. And that, friends, is a new word for the week. That whole process is called osmosis. And I have a special guest coming to teach us more about what osmosis means.
Hello everybody, I am Elmo, and I am here to tell you about osmosis. Can you say that? Osmosis.
What's osmosis, Elmo?
Osmosis is movement of water through a membrane to an area with a lower concentration of water. Yeah!
Oh, good job, Elmo. Thank you.
What does that mean?
Oh, here, let me explain to the audience. Okay, what that means is that, again, the water went through the membrane and it filled in the spaces inside the egg where there wasn't as much water. It was less dense or less concentration of water. There's another way you can see this. When you get this egg after sitting for 2 days in the vinegar, I want you to pull it out, and we're going to put it in another container. This time, this is just water, no vinegar this time. And we're going to let that sit for another 2 to 3 days, and it should get even bigger. It should swell even more because there's more area inside the egg that can be filled with water from the outside. So osmosis should continue to work for another 2 to 3 days. Then there's another experiment with going back to the egg in the vinegar. Okay, here's an egg in vinegar. It's been sitting for already 2 days. The shell has been dissolving. I'm gonna let that sit for a whole nother 3 days. This has to sit for 5 days. 5 days. You gotta be patient on this one.
That's a long time. I don't think Elmo can be patient.
Well, you're gonna have to, Elmo, sorry. And you folks out there too, you're gonna have to be patient if you want this to work. After 5 days sitting in vinegar, you should end up with something like a bouncy ball. Now, I have not done this experiment completely yet. This has only been sitting in here for about 2 days. So in about 3 days, I will take another video and I will show you if I get a good bouncy ball or not. So here again here's your experiments for the week. You could zoom in on that. And you can choose which ones to do. You put a raw egg in vinegar for 48 hours, and that acid will eat the shell. And then you put that same egg in water for another 48 to 72 hours to see it swell even more. And that's the osmosis experiment. But if you want to go right for the bouncy egg, you stick the raw egg in the vinegar for 5 days, and you should end up with a bouncy egg, the one that doesn't break so easily. So I will come back with you in another video in about 3 days, and we'll see if I get a bouncy egg. All right, thanks everyone. Show me what you discover. Bye.